Bootcamp is about to begin. Rise up, it's time to log in. LP Army will teach you the way to be LP warrior starting this day. We live for the fees we make. Soon it is profits that you will take. The LP Army marches strong. The best in soul and now we sing our song. We live for the fees we make. Soon it is profits that you will take. The LP Army marches strong. The best in soul and now we sing our song. We are LP Army, rise to the sky. Dynamic fees, our battle cry. LP warriors will never die. Arrow bold we will fly. Rise, new soldiers, rise. Rise, new soldiers, rise. Spot, copy, ask, use them all. Winning's the task, we heed the call. Bootcamp, join our ranks so tight. Listen to the Goose Gang and gain your might. We will praise and we will earn. Break through Danish tokens burn. Join the ranks of the brave and bold. Story of the LP Army told. We are LP Army, rise to the sky. Dynamic fees, our battle cry. LP warriors will never die. Arrow bold we will fly. Rise, new soldiers, rise. Rise. Take the course and earn your role. March with us and earn some soul. Dodge the rug and join the fight. We gain together LP Army might. Make your position and join the pool. Post your wins with Alex's tool. LP Army, we fight to win. Your journey is about to begin. We are LP Army, rise to the sky. Dynamic fees, our battle cry. LP warriors will never die. Arrow bold we will fly. Rise, new soldiers, rise. Take the course and earn your role. March with us and earn some soul. Dodge the rug and join the fight. We gain together LP Army might. Oh.
GMet, everyone. Happy Valentine's Day, whether it's day, evening, morning for you. Let's go. Welcome to all of you here today. I'm so glad you could join me. We're going to get right into things. So today, Advanced Boot Camp, we're going to cover several topics. One of them is about controlling your emotions in LP. We'll talk about the new pool discovery page, how to use it, why it's so great, some additional features that Meteor has added, and some strategies that I've been using and been successful with um, recently. So let's get right on into it, guys. Um, so controlling your emotions is so critical in LP or in crypto in general. You are usually your own worst enemy. Okay. And this can be a result. A lot of things can happen here. You can panic sell, you can withdraw too early, you can say, oh, this thing is dumping, so I'm going to get out now, I'm just going to take the loss. And there's so many times when, if you just stop and think logically, that you know what, there may be a history here, or maybe this is just a bit of a dump, there's going to be a pump here. Just don't panic, don't immediately take that loss. Okay, you have to think. At the same time, you want to trust your instincts. I can tell you many times whenever I'm LPing something and I'm looking at something, and I'm just thinking, man, I don't think this thing is going to go back up. I think now is the time to exit. I'm in profit, so I'm going to take that win. It's sometimes it's that being greedy that will kill you. Uh, just a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more, and you get emotional about it, and you don't take the win when you could have. Like if you see in this picture here, I was LPing this FTX token here, and I had this entry way up at the top, right, um, near the all-time high, and then we had some nasty dumps go through all of this, and it pumped a little bit, and I just waited. Okay. And I saw a point here where I said, you know what? I think it's going to go down from here. I chose to take my exit, and I came out of it with $11 profit. So that's not very huge, but would you rather have $11 profit or a loss? Right. And so this is one of the things to remember when you're doing is you see that dump, don't immediately take the loss. Wait, control your emotions, look at the chart, think rationally. If you get uncomfortable in positions, like it just makes you nervous, whatever, you might be using a wrong strategy here. You might be too much risk, or maybe you're LPing with too much. I never LP with more money than I'm willing to lose. So keep that in mind as well. And never force anything. Don't revenge LP. If a token dumps and it dumps, don't like, oh, I'm going to get that back. And then you just sometimes end up losing more. Think rationally about this. Is there a way to recover? If there's not, then take the loss and move on. Don't just lose more money. And also, again, like in this example here, I took profit when I could, right? And the token just went down from there. I ignore what might have been. Like there's been times whenever I said, you know what, I think this is the exit. And I pulled out because my instincts told me to, or I'm looking at the chart and I don't think it's this. And then later you see this massive pump, I don't worry about what might have been, because that will just cause you heartache, and it'll cause you to make poor decisions in the future. Be happy with your wins, take your wins, stack your wins. There's a lot of times when what you're doing is stacking a lot of small wins. A lot of small wins will add up. I have had days where there's $20, $10, $15. And the next thing you know, I've got 5, 10 sold because I've stacked up a lot of wins that way. The other thing that you really have to control and ignore is what everybody else is doing. I would be standing right next to a guy who maybe he's LPing with the same thing that I am, and he's gone in there and he's made $2,000, and I only made $400. This doesn't matter. Okay. Don't focus on what other people are doing. Okay. You see wins in the discords, these things. What other people won doesn't matter. What matters is, are you improving? Are you getting better? Your strategy, is it working? That's what you need to focus on. Percentage is way more impressive than the dollar amount, because maybe you LP'd with 1 soul and someone else LP'd with 20 soul. Well, the dollar amount may be much higher, but the percentage could be different. Maybe they only earned 1% and you earned 10%. That's far more impressive. That's what you need to focus on, because then it's just scale. And of course, avoid fear of missing out, FOMO. This is super important when you're LPing. Sometimes you are seeing people posting wins and wins and wins, and then you just, man, I have to get in there. I have to get some of that. You have to stop and look at the charts and everything. And you know what? The token might be dead. The volume might have disappeared, or it's rug time. So don't blindly ape into something just because someone else is winning. And I'll just say hello to Photon Magic. He's joined me in the studio today. Hello, Photon.
Hello, sir. Hello, everyone.
So appreciate you joining me, and he's going to keep an eye on the chat for me to see if there's any questions or anything that pops up. But I hope all that's kind of clear to you guys, what I'm talking about with emotional control. You really have to control yourself and don't make rash decisions. Don't quit too early. We're going to go through more of this as we go through the rest of today's course. The next is I'm going to just talk a little bit about some strategies that have been working for me. I have, like this last month, I've made it to put up over 83 SOL in profits. How did I do that? I stacked a lot of wins. I did safer plays. I do not do heart attack strategy. You see guys out there, they're doing these things, heart attack, and and that's their business. That's what they want to do. I don't recommend this type of strategy because it's pure gambling, because while you can get a big win this way, you can also get a massive loss that way. It's better to use something that's smart and safe, something that can survive things like dumps. For example, the Evil Panda strat, if you're not familiar with it, go back to Advanced Bootcamp number 7 and study that. I'm not going to go through that whole thing, but it's a very effective strat. It's all about going wide. It's about choosing the right token and the right time and all of these things, but it's a safer strat that allows you to eat dumps and LP and chill. It's Alex, I hear him say all the time, LP and chill, LP and chill. You don't want to LP and panic. So anyway, a lot of what I'm doing here on highly volatile tokens, I'm just doing a simple one-sided SOL, 70 bins on a 100 bin step or higher pool. I frequently will only use spot. Very rarely will I use bid ask. I would recommend to you that if you're not comfortable yet with just using a pure spot, use the bid ask. Bid ask is really good for capital preservation, and if the token price goes all the way down to the bottom of your range, you're probably in profit. This is good if you've had good fees, there's good volume there. This is safer. Spot will earn more along the way, especially if it never dumps down that far. And another thing that I do like to do sometimes is I'll mix in a little bit of bid ask on a spot. So maybe I put in 10 SOL in a spot and maybe 5 SOL in a bid ask, just in case. The other thing that I like to do sometimes is I'll just go straight 70 to negative 90%, especially if I think it's something that there's more potential for a big dump or a type of rug. This is what I'm doing. I like the higher fee pools. I like 2% in whenever you're going with these fresh, hot memes that, probable rugs. I like 2% and higher. 1% can be okay if you've got the dynamic fee kicking in. But if you're getting lower than that, and this thing dumps, you may not earn enough fees to overcome your losses. So the other key thing for me is compounding your fees. Whenever I get, a few dollars in fees, I will claim and I will compound the token back into my position. Especially at the top, I'll use a bid ask there, but I frequently am using spot in that situation. You see this thing here, you can see little bits here where I've added compounded fees along the way in this position, and that's just to add to the value of it. You can see right here, in this position right here, I'm in the middle, and this is where I exited. You can see here on this little chart, this is my exit point, and after that it started dumping. And this was actually today that I did it, and I came out with $69 profit. Had it pumped more, I would have gotten a lot more profit, but I won and I'm happy with it. I took my win and I walked away with this. I did a wide position on this particular one, but it was 71 bins because it was a 125 bin step pool. So it was a little bit wider than, say, a 100 bin step pool. But that's how I won with this. Even in the middle, I made a decent enough profit that I'm happy, and I walked away with it. My instinct told me that the pump is over, the dump is coming, and I was right about that. So this is just really it's very basic strategy. It's not complicated. This is just like what I'm doing, and it's been very successful with this. And I know many other LPers who are successful with this. Alex, he does this type of thing quite frequently, 70 bins or what have you, pure spot, that sort of thing, token side only. Very successful with this. It does work. Okay. So next I'm going to talk about pool discovery, and this is really one of the best things that Meteor has put out. And I've seen a lot of people fade the pool discovery. And that's part of the reason why I'm doing this course today is they're fading the pool discovery, and it's absolutely goated. A lot of times I'm just going here and nowhere else to find what I need to LP. This is truly one of the greatest tools that they put out. I'll also talk a little bit about the new Ape In features and Zap Out. They've made a lot of improvements, some cool stuff. In fact, just shipped. So we'll talk about that. And I'm actually going to change screens here. Photon, we got anything going on that I need to see?
No, not really. Everyone's just enjoying.
Okay. All right. Okay, cool. So let me just expand this here. So pool discovery is just right there at the main page. If right there, discover. This is the thing. And when it comes to the filters, there's a lot of great stuff here. And if you're looking for things that are less risky, you can, do some more of these extra filters, like no high supply concentration, don't show me any new listings, this kind of thing. I am personally leaving things on default. If you're looking for Jupiter verified only tokens, then check this box on the top. But I leave all these things on the default. If I'm not wanting to see any damn V2, sometimes I'll uncheck that. But we're seeing the volume, all these things. I leave it just as it is, but you have a lot of choices here to change and look at. You can even filter out certain launch pads. Like if you only want to see things that came through the Meteor DBC, you can filter this way. But for me, I leave this thing on the default. It may default to the 2-hour time frame, but quite frequently what I'm using is the 1-hour time frame and the 30-minute time frame. And first thing I want to know is, man, where are the fees? So I sort by fees. So at the top, I'll see which pools are generating the most dollar amount in fees at this time. I'll also sort by volume to see where is all the volume at right now. Now you may be looking at, it's like, okay, let's go here to fees. This particular pool, Right Soul, it's near the top in fee generation, but you see that it's come down a bit. Okay, so maybe the volume has dried up a little bit for this pool. And it can vary from pool to pool. You see this, two of the same tokens, but they're going to have different fee generation. This may help you in selecting the pool that you want, right? You can see that this pool is generating more fees. It's capturing more volume than this pool. So maybe this is the pool that you want. Or maybe you think this token is a little bit more risky. I'm actually going to go with the higher fee, higher bin step. When it comes to this one, I'd be on the fence looking at its token age about which one I select here. If this was, say, only a few hours old, I would definitely be going for the higher bin step and the higher fee. With that, I do like to also, while I'm doing that, compare to market cap, because, like, for example, Trump USDC here, it's got the most in fee generation in this list, 561, but we're looking at 814 million market cap. So this is really not generating that much at this time. It's probably a safer play if that's what you're looking for, but if you're looking for something that's ripping, maybe you skip right over that and you look at something else that's going on here. Same with volume, right? These two, these right here, they're generating a whole lot of volume right now, but maybe what I'm looking for is a better runner. And of course, it's Saturday and there's not a whole lot of runners happening right now, but this is what I'm looking for in these things. You can, of course, ape into a pool right here, but I'm not going to do that from there. I'm actually going to try and find something else. Let's see here. I want to demonstrate the DLMM, so I'm going to turn off the dam. See if that helps. Looking at this Punch Soul. Okay, it is generating the most fees, 3 million market cap. Let's go ahead and take a look at this pool. And right now I'm using Edge. All of this stuff works in the same. But right now I'm looking at the chart. This is the 15-second chart. Let's switch to the 1-minute chart. And this thing looks like it's up, up, up. That's pretty cool. And this brand new ape in button, I really love it. You can, in the global, you can access it there, the settings, or up here in the global settings, you can change your ape in settings right here. You can do two-sided, quote only, or if you're really crazy, you can do token sided only. If you're doing both sides, you can change how much of this that you're doing. Like say you only wanted to go up like that. Maybe you wanted to have more on the down and less on the up. You can customize it that way. You are limited to 70 bins, however, on the A pin. So keep that in mind. The bin step is important to remember what you're picking for this sort of thing. Okay. So keep that in mind. You can define your liquidity slippage. This is how much, if the token price moves from the time you initiate the transaction to the time that actually lands, if that moves more than what you've defined in your liquidity slippage, the transaction will fail as a protection for you. So if you find yourself having trouble, you may want to increase the liquidity slippage if you're willing to accept that. But and also you set the amount that you're willing to ape in. So just for demo, I'm going to do one soul here, one-sided. I'm just going to save, and I want to show you guys how fast this is. It's really cool. Okay, click approve in my wallet, and boom, there. It's in. Position is created, and it's really that fast. Let me show you the alternative here. To create a position, I'm going to enter one soul. I've got my range. I hit create position, approve, all that. It takes a little bit more time, but here's the thing that I've noticed is whenever these things are extremely volatile, creating that position manually seems to take a little bit longer, the process. So the ape in is lightning fast, and it always hits. For me, it bangs right in. It's really super fast on that. So strongly recommend you guys check out the ape. If you want to go wider, though, you'll need to create your position manually. Keep that in mind. For example, here, if I thought this thing was going to dump, then I'm going to come down here and set a much wider position, and it did something weird. Okay, there we go. Yeah, it's getting wild right here. Kind of funky with the spin step. Okay, so there we go. That took a minute. So again, this is a very basic strategy that it works so well. What I'm doing here, though, is if this thing, it comes down, I'll claim and compound those fees. If it goes up out of range, even if it's just a few dollars, I'm going to probably close that position, take the win. If I think I need to enter again, I'll enter again, but I take those wins because I've secured my profits right there. That's just the simple how I do it. Okay, this one is actually out of range, so I'm going to go ahead and close it. Close. Okay. All right. So now, just showing you guys the zap out. Let's say you're happy with this. It's down below your entry point, or maybe you've got some accumulated fees and you're out of range. It doesn't matter. if you have some of this other token to swap back into Sol, the zap out feature is there. It only works if you have if your position is 250 bins or less. And I agree with this comment. We'll pass that along to the team, but I do agree with that on edge for this here. But anyway, the zap out, the improvements here is it's always going to default to the quote token. It used to sometimes switch to the other token, and that's usually not what you want. But it's always going to default to that. It's going to, this is auto. I leave it on auto because it's going to do that swap with either Jupiter or the pool itself, whichever is the best price. I have no reason to ever change that because I always want the best price. Okay. So close position, ready to zap. And it's done. I don't have to close and then go sell my fees and do all these things. Zap out. It's a great way to get out quickly. Some people like it, some people don't. I use it all the time now, and I find it very successful. I like it. We'll just see what we get. We got 13 cents. Ooh, big money today, right? We made 13 cents. Let's see what else. This one is, it's still in range, but right there. Again, you see a lot of people who, you know, maybe this thing only uses this portion of your range right here, and then it just pumps out of the ring, and you thought, man, I could have gotten way tighter with that. Yeah, you could have, but you didn't know that it was going to do that. The smarter play, the safer play, is to go wide, because what if you entered here? Let me see if I can zoom in on this. Okay. So what if you entered here and then you had to eat this big old dump? If you had a very tight range, well, now you're wrecked and you're praying for this pump over here, which may or may not come, at least to this point. So that's why I don't go super tight ranges. I like to go wider on these things, at least 70 bins at the absolute minimum. And again, I'm usually only going with 100 bin step or higher in these situations, especially if it's a token that's highly volatile new token. So I'm actually going to zap out on this one too, because I don't care about this one. Okay. And we were below our entry point. And we made 21 cents. Neat. Okay. All right. So now here is a token that we saw. I actually saw Evil Panda post on X about this today, this particular token, Big Trout, and he was doing his strategy on that. This one is quite simple. In this situation, one-sided, he's probably doing 90 minus 90, and that's it. And so this allows you to LP and chill. If you've selected the right token, you don't have to worry too much. It's usually pretty good on that. let's just zoom out on this chart. Look at the 5-minute chart here. And we can see that this thing has had plenty of ups and downs along the way. He entered probably somewhere around here, and he just ate fees all along the way until it pumped out of range, and he got it. And here's a great question that I was getting to next. Go ahead or thank you for asking it though. When I'm looking at something like that, and let's actually go find something on the discovery page. Let's see if we could find something here that's a little sort by token age. Okay, all right, well, we got this one here. I was LPing this one earlier. So if it's fresh, the 5-minute time frame is not useful, right? I'm going to look at the 1 minute. I also like to look at the 30-second chart and the 15-second chart. What you do need to remember is, what may look like a massive dump on a 15-second chart or a 30-second chart. Don't let it scare you. Zoom out and you'll see maybe, yeah, there's that little dump right there. That it looked much bigger, but it wasn't. So that's really what I'm looking at, especially, but whenever I'm looking for my exit, I'm frequently using the 30-second and the 15-second charts. 1 second is not very helpful. It's too small, but this is frequently what I'm switching back and forth to on this. Thank you for this question as well. I use the Heikin-Ashi candles. I don't use the standard candles. And here's what this does. And I'll zoom in on it. Maybe we can see this a little bit better. Okay. So you'll notice that you don't see quite as many wicks, and you see more trend with it. Let me just swap back to regular candles so you can see what I'm talking about. All through this, you see red, green, red, green, red, 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 green, red, red. You have a mix throughout that. What the Heikin-Ashi candles does is it's telling you more about what the actual trend is. Okay. So in this time frame, you'll notice this green and there's no bottom wicks to it. That means that this thing is pumping. The trend is up. I can ignore any little minor dips. The trend was up. And then the same with the other way, the trend was down. So that's what we're looking for, or that's what I am looking for. I want to see more about what's the trend, because that gives me a better idea of when something is actually going to turn back the other way. If I go and I'm looking at this and saying, okay, this is the peak and it starts to turn red, okay, maybe that was the point of exit. So on this. Do you need to know technical analysis? I will say that on one hand, it helps. On another hand, there's not a whole lot of technical analysis you can do on a meme coin that's a couple hours old at best, right? There's not enough data to do any true, real technical analysis, okay? You can use some indicators to kind of help you. This one here, this green line and red line, that's the super trend. So that's just kind of telling me here, you see, and I mean, it's kind of self-explanatory, but you see this was a general trend, a pump up, and I've got green line. And then here it turned around and it started dumping. Now I've got red line. And I look at this again. Oh, we've got a little bit of a pump. Keep in mind, though, that the time frame can change that. On a 15-second chart, it's going up, but on the 30-second chart, it's not reversed just yet on the super trend. This is one of Evil Panda's favorite ones that he uses. I also like to use the MACD indicator here. Just kind of gives me an idea of what it's going, or the strength of a pump. Or like, for example, in here, we see the dark red, that was a dump, but as it lightened, the selling started to slow down. So that could indicate a reversal. Okay, does bin stip affect the accuracy of the measurement feature in GMGN in order to see how far a 30 says? I mean, so GMGN is not just for that one pool, be many pools aggregated together. So I don't know that the bin stip really has any effect on that at all. Measuring that, it's just, that's the percentage, right? You can go and do all that. You can choose that. I don't really do this so much anymore to define my ranges. Maybe if I was trying to LP something way more established long term, I may go and say, okay, it looks like this is my absolute bottom, so I'm going to go with 65%. Or maybe I think I want to stay in this area right here, so I measure at 34%. But that's generally not what I'm doing anymore. Now, of course, within this TradingView chart, you can also draw on this. And if you're wanting to define your own range this way, you certainly can. Like this one, maybe I think that's the bottom for now. That would be 31%. My current strategy does not involve that at all. The trend that we're seeing a lot lately is you have these massive dumps, and then it turns right around and pumps back up, right? So this is kind of like the thing that's happening, the meta that's happening these days. You see a lot of tokens where something comes up, and then you see this big old nasty dump, and then it turns back around. And that's what's killing some people, is they see this big dump, they'll panic and they'll leave. Or they're out of range because they didn't go wide enough and they panic, right? And what you have to do is just wait sometimes. So often it comes back up. And if a token, like, man, it like rugs, don't immediately take that L. Wait. Sometimes after a day or two, you'll see what we call the crime pump, okay? And that's just like some bag holders, KOLs, whatever. They decide to do a big, massive pump spike to get other people to hop in and buy the token, and then they dump on them again. That can be your saving grace as an LPer, is you waiting for that crime pump, and it comes up, you're watching it, and you take whatever exit you can in profit. That's what I am always looking for, is, okay, I'm upside down in this thing, I'm looking for any exit in green, and if it's up, I'm out, because it'll probably rug again on you. But I'll tell you, more often than not, you're going to see some kind of bounce come in. I do have one or two tokens that it never did. Still waiting. But that's okay, because those are fewer than they are common. So like I said, I don't really take L's. It's very rare. The only way that I'm taking a loss is if the token rugs and stays rugged. Like if it goes just all the way down and it stays down and never comes back up, that's whenever I'm taking a loss. And the other thing that I've seen, and I know this is one of like Alex and some other guys' favorite strats to do, is actually to play the bottom. And let's see if we can find an example of that here. Sort the other way on fees. I think this was a rug. Let's see. Let's move out to the 5-minute chart. Oh, no, it's not a rug. A lot of times if it's an absolute rug, you're not going to find it on this chart at all. Actually, it's sort by market cap. Okay, yeah, this one looks ugly. And I'm not recommending that you LPs, but here's the point that I'm going to make for you right here. You saw this big dump right here. Some people will do what we call playing the bottom. Okay, you've got a lot of sideways action here. If there is enough volume down here, you can totally make money, right? Everybody else got rugged, and you can make some money on this little bit of up and down right through here. I would still not have a super tight range, but you can still make money on this. Again, as long as there's enough volume for it. Now, like if you were in this particular token, let's say that I was LPing up here and it went down below my range. Let's see actually how long this has been. So this is a 1-minute chart. This one I would probably actually be holding on to hope still for a crime pump. I would not exit this one just yet. If after a few days you don't get your crime pump, then, you know, take the L and leave. But that's really what I do. I see so many people exiting early or taking losses when all they had to do was chill, be patient, and wait. Or alternatively, you can open another position lower to earn some fees to recoup some of those losses. So, yeah. Okay. So that's a lot of what my strategy is. Now, this one here, this is a weird token, AFK. I'm going to zoom way out on this token. I'm going to show you the 8-hour chart because this thing's been around for a while. So again, this is an 8-hour chart. This thing is more or less up only. Let's go to the 1-hour chart. And we look at it like this. We could see we've got up, up, up. So the way I would play this one actually is I would go two-sided. And if I'm going to go two-sided, I'm going to use 8. I'm going to do it just like that. Put in 5 sold total. I'm going to leave this right smack in the middle, actually. I'm going to ape in and see this is so much easier. It's so much faster than buying the token, than making the deposit and all these things. I don't have to do all that. Boom, I've got myself a position right there. And watching this chart, as long as it's been going, I'm going to totally LP and chill in this. You know, I'm not going to get rich off of it, but it's going to go up. So that's how I would play that one. But this is a rare oddity, I think, really. All right. So let's see. We've been at this for 50 minutes. Just look through. Photon, any questions that we need to highlight here?
No, not really. You've been doing great. The chat has been pretty mild. I've answered a couple of questions, so it's looking good.
Okay. All right. Cool. All right. I think, yeah, you answered that one. Yep. The LP Army, Med LP Army is here answering questions. That's awesome. Thank you so much. The bubble map is quite colorful on that one. You know what? Let's check it out. Actually, I'll go to ecosystem tools, pop up in GMGN. What does the bubble map look like? Oh, that is pretty colors. A lot of clusters on this one. Let's see, that's a funding wallet. Not sure what that is. So it's like funding these things, some smaller clusters on these. Now, what's hidden, of course, is like this is the pump swap pool. It's hidden because it would otherwise be scary here, right? That's just the pool. You don't need to be afraid of that. Same with like, here's a Meteora pool, right? That's why Bubble Maps hides these, because there's nothing to be scared of that. That's not an actual like sus cluster or anything. Now, guys, one of the things that I do want to point out, and this is really important whenever I'm looking at a token to LP, maybe I've found something here on the discovery page. Before I'm jumping into this thing, I want to check some information here. And number one, this is where I'm looking for the volume, right here in the upper right-hand corner of GMGN. Let's see if we can zoom in so we can see a little better. Up here, the 1 minute, the 5 minute, hour, 24 hours. I'm looking here for some volume, okay? And there's actually a little bit of volume on this particular token right now. It's not dead yet. It's not amazing, but it's not dead. If this thing was like, oh, it's $200, okay, well, that thing's not moving. So this token is not completely dead yet. But I'm also looking at here where the top holders. What's the dev doing? And fishing. Okay, high fishing count is dangerous. Bundler, yes, it can be bundled, meaning a lot of wallets there, but this number can get skewed by LPers, actually. What they're looking at is they're saying, oh, you have this token, but you didn't buy it. How is it that you have this token and you didn't buy it? You must have been sent the token, and therefore you're a bundler. And that's not true. So this number can get thrown off by that, actually. So, yeah. And of course, I'm always looking at market cap and holders. If there's a small number of holders, that's a dangerous thing. And zooming back out, we also see total fees. If this number is very low, that can be a warning sign, especially of wash trading with a prop AMM. And what that is a proprietary AMM. It's separate. You can't like go out there and use it. They've got their own little thing, and their trading bots are only using the prop AMM. Okay, so everything's happening through there. They're generating all this volume, and it's going through there. The volume is because it's such an extremely low or zero fee. Any fees that are due, you're not going to capture a whole lot of trades, and so you would get rugged on that one for sure. So this is a very important metric to watch for, is total fees. So yeah, that's really what I'm looking for out there on GMGN. After I've selected my token, though, I'm usually just using this chart, because at that point, all I'm looking for is like, what's the trend? What's it doing next? Where's it going? That kind of thing. So yeah. Do you do rug check? Yes, I do. Sometimes it's like already been done, but I do like to check it. People are probably using it a little less these days. Here on Edge, if you hover right here over the token pair, you'll be able to copy this. I don't know why the link to rug check is not here anymore, but yes, it's not a terrible idea to do a quick rug check just to make sure that you don't find any bad attributes. Sometimes you'll see a warning like, this token creator has a history of rugging, right? That's probably a danger sign you want to watch out for. So yeah. Okay. So what's the difference between Edge and the regular website? So what Edge is it's like the test version. It's where the team is, say they're trying out new features, testing new things before they ship it to the main app. So we can see here, and actually, like, let me go to the portfolio here. We see the portfolio. This is on Edge, and then this is on app. I'm actually just zoomed in here. Let me reset that view. So this is Edge, and there's app, and there's no difference because they shipped this over to app. But if we actually go into one of these, we'll see the difference here. And it looks much different. Personally, when I'm on mobile, I'm going to use app. And it's because it's fewer clicks right now. But I think the team is going to work on making it better on mobile. What we have in Edge now. But right now there's a lot to click, and for me, I need speed. So anyway, that's the difference. Jupiter actually has an Edge version as well. So yeah, but the ape in button, like if you're wanting to use app, ape in button is there. Totally works there too. Super cool. So yeah. All right. Let's see. Why not start negative 80 bin on AFK if it's gone up for 8 custom balance spot? Why? Okay. Thanks for that question. And I'm going to show you why. Because let's say that I only did token sided, right? Solid strategy. You can totally do it. That'll totally work. And eventually it will. What I'm actually looking for here is to catch, because it does dip. I want to catch that dip and then the back up. I just want to sit here and chill. I don't want to be out of range. I want to stay in range because it's not a fast earner. So that's what I'm after. If I wanted to, I could have just made a regular two-sided position, or maybe even in my ape, what I could have done is just say, give me only 10% on the bottom and 50% on the top. And you could have done that setup and it'll work. But yeah, it's just because I wanted to stay in range and eat any dips that hit. So, yeah. I always struggle to set ranges on mobile accurately. I always current price bin. I'll tell you, I've been LPing some very volatile stuff. And I know the pain sometimes whenever you're doing that and you're manually entering this and you're trying to get it, and then the thing's out of range or it changes so much that it changes your percentages. But APIN works every single time I've tried it. I click and bam, I've got my position. It doesn't fail. It puts it right where I needed it. And boom, done. So try APE seriously. If you're doing 70 bin wide positions, APIN is your friend. Okay. All right. Aren't the fees higher on APIN? I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, if pumping a lot, which should your liquidity slippage be? I'm using 10%. I know people who go even higher. If you're doing SOL only, it may not really matter. You can set it as high as you want. If you're putting the token side in, that might matter to you. But yeah, increasing that up higher does make a difference on that. So I say at 10% though, and I usually don't have a problem unless something is super insane. Yeah. Okay. What else? Sure appreciate you guys all joining me here on Valentine's Day. Oh, I actually have one more thing to show you guys. So let me stop this. And okay. The DLMM playground. This is something that I wanted to show you guys. If you're new to LPing, this is a really cool tool that you can use. It's a risk-free way to try LPing, to test strategies without losing any money at all. And you know what? We've got time. I'll go ahead and show it to you here. Here we go. So it's out there on lparmy.com. Just come to the playground. We can see here there's a couple of SOL USDC pools already set on this, but you can search by contract address. Let me actually just grab any old contract address here. Let's grab the one for Big Trout. So I'm just going to drop that right there and press enter. And these are all actual DLMM pools out there. So I'll just pick one I'll just go with the top one, click add. And so now that's here. I'm going to click on it. And now I want to create a position, and you have 100 fake SOL to play with. And if you refresh the page, it reloads. And it's very simple. I'm going to uncheck autofill because I want to do, say, one-sided here. I'm going to put in 50 SOL. And I'm going to do a bid ask. And then I'm going to add in, I'm going to do this again. I'm going to put in 50 SOL in spot. Well, okay. 49.95. I had to do slightly less, but this is a great way to run an experiment. You can see what would have earned more if you let this run. Now, I mean, it's out of range because it's actually using the actual price out there on the market. The DLMM is going to use the actual price. So if it goes out of range, it's out of range. But as it earns fees, you'll be able to claim the fees. Now, you can't currently compound the fees, but you will be able to generate a P&L off of this. There's a little pop-up that comes up right here in the corner, and you can see so that you have your records of here's where I won, maybe here's where I lost, and you try this. So this is a really cool tool to risk-free test LPing or to test out a strategy. You know, if you don't believe in all the stuff that I told you today works, come out to the DLMM playground and try it. Okay, before you put your money in, try it. Try a heart attack strategy. See how often you get wrecked on that. Try it. This is a great way to test it without wasting any money at all on anything. And I also invite you to the last thing that I want to show you here is the support button. Right down here, you can add feedback, suggestions. If you encounter a bug, you can put that right in. That goes right to the dev, Alex, who he makes improvements on this based off of that information right there. So you have that channel for this. Does Playground run for multi-days? If you keep it open. You see here, I'm going to refresh the page and it's gone. Okay. So if you keep it open and don't close it, it will run for multi-days. It'll reset everything back to 0 if you refresh the page. So yeah, it'll run for multi-days. So yeah, that's it. It's a great tool to use. Okay. Well, guys, we are at just over an hour. We intended to do this for an hour. We'll give one last. Any other questions? We ain't got no Valentines. That's why we are here. Man, I'm so sorry to hear that. I'll be your Valentine. You guys are helpful. Or welcome. Anyway. All right. Photon, I think that's it, man.
Yep. It's all looking good here.
Yep. And so while I'm at it, I want to tell you guys tomorrow at 3 p.m. UTC, right there in the LP Army Discord on the Bootcamp stage, we're going to have Photon Magic and another Bootcamp instructor, Hashirama. They are going to be there live answering any questions that you might have about the basic, the Bootcamp LP Academy, the basics. They're there to help you. You know, if you're still learning, you are not clear on a concept, you need live help. They're going to be there to help teach you all of that. So visit them. Great instructors to be there for you guys. Just wanted to promote that, and that's something that we want to try and do at least a couple times a month, just so that you guys can get some live one-on-one or live instructor help. So anyway, again, thank you all, and we'll call it a day. We'll take us out with a song that I had written for Met Dobby, called One World, One Army. I hope you enjoy it. Thanks again, and we'll see you around soon. Happy Valentine's.
Footsteps echo from distant lands. Shadows meet where the skyline bends. Voices carried from the mountain tops. Every heartbeat says it never stops.
One spark, one flame, a name we all claim. One spark, one flame, a name we all claim. We are the sound of meteor rising, hands in the air, no compromising.
Every soul from every land,
United here, together we
flags unfurl in the global wind. Stories told of where we've been. The echoes of chords that shape the air. A bond that no storm could tear.
One spark, one flame, her name